What's good, everyone? This is RawTruth Media, giving you the raw content that you deservedly need. Please like and share this video throughout all social media platforms. Today, we're going to talk about Famu versus South Carolina State, my thoughts about the game, and I'm going to keep it real, so there will not be any sugarcoating. I will also talk about the games that I saw for HBCUs, whether it's a SWAC or BAC, just to give my thoughts. Now to Famu versus South Carolina State. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Let me start with Famu. The good is Famu found a way to win. And Famu continues their home winning streak. Also a positive. Famu clearly has the athletic advantage. They recruited very well, and their signal caller, Daniel Richardson, is very talented. But here's the negatives. Why didn't the offensive coordinator for FAMU open up the offense? Daniel Richardson played for FAU under a coach named Tom Herman. The name is familiar. Tom Herman used to coach at Texas and U of H. He runs a spread offense. It's a advanced type of spread. And I would think that FAMU would look at some of the plays that they ran at FAU and see if they can incorporate it in their offense. I don't see it. It's kind of conservative in my opinion, and that's why these games are close. Nothing against South Carolina State, but FAMU just has more talent than them. But into Coach Cozy's defense, he's a first-year coach, and I believe in giving all first-year coaches a benefit of a doubt. But the offense could have been a lot better. The running game could have been a lot better. The one glaring positive is that FAMU has found their star young running back in Levante Somerset. I don't know where they found this brother from, but he's the truth. And it's crazy he's only a freshman. He has ample amount of potential, and I wouldn't even be surprised if he remains the starting running back. Now, Kelvin Dean, he's talented. Thad Franklin is that thumping running back that you need, especially in goal line situations. But Levante, in my opinion, is a more complete running back. And when you give the ball in his hands, good things happen. But I thought FAMU's running game would be a lot better this year. It's still taking its time to be where it truly is potentially. Thankfully, the passing game with Daniel Richardson being the quarterback of this team, that's going to push FAMU to win a lot of games. But they still need to open the offense. Look, Daniel Richardson had 282 yards, no picks, 3 touchdowns. And this offense could be a lot better. That's a scary part. So all I want to see FAMU do go forward is to be more creative with this offense. Look at all these receivers they have. Jalen Ward, and they got the tight ends, Colby Gross and them. There's no excuses not to push the pace of this offense. But lastly, another positive for FAMU. You see a lot of teams turning over the ball, having a lot of penalties. So far, FAMU has played a clean game. FAMU's problem has been red zone, and like I said in this video, not opening the offense. And if you're any team, you would take that any day. Now, South Carolina State. If you're a South Carolina State fan, you should be proud of your team. And you should look forward to not only the future, but what's going on right now, the present. Because there's still a chance that this team could, because there's talented teams in the MEAC, make the Celebration Bowl. And you never know, potentially win the Celebration Bowl. Coach Berry is the general of this team. He has the coaching style that every type of young athlete would like to be a part of. Yes, he's a disciplinarian, but he cares about his players. He cares about South Carolina State. They did everything right in some ways. Now, there's some things to clean up. Like when they had a lead 18-7. You have to find a way. But I have to talk about this. And this is nothing against FAMU. This is the truth. The SWAC refs, as always, you know how they are, were trash. Very trash. When they took the touchdown away, that was clearly a touchdown. Just the wrong penalties at the wrong times. Sometimes they let a play go and not call a flag, and then sometimes they call a flag on the most ticky-tack things. It's very inconsistent. And I don't know who pays these SWAC refs, but they're terrible. I've been saying this for years. They're very terrible. And if I'm any coach that has SWAC refs in the game, I don't care if it's non-conference or what, I'm telling my players, you got to beat the refs. You can't let the refs dictate the game. You can't have a close game. And I knew, and I was talking to some coaches about this matchup. I even brought up, man, if South Carolina State wins this game, it would have to be a 2-score lead. You don't want to put it in officials' hands, especially late in the fourth. Again, this doesn't take anything away from FAMU. The rest were garbage. And Eric Phoenix, he's not a superstar quarterback. Doesn't do a lot of wild plays, but he knows what he is. He takes what the defense gives him. He has a little bit of running ability. He's a leader for his team. And you could win with a quarterback like that. He's an older player, so he has seen a lot of football. He's a winner. Because when he was at St. Benedict's, they were winning a lot of games with him. So he's battle-tested. The run game was pretty solid. There were some times it was stalled a couple times, but it was really, really good for his first outing against FAMU, who has some talented defensive players. It's just that when the game is close, when you have a lead like that, you can't commit any extra personal penalties. Now, we already know the penalties that you can't control, which an official may call inconsistently. I'm talking about misaligned penalties, delay of game, that type of stuff. That hurt this team. Now, that's something that they can fix. But I like the direction of South Carolina State. And if I'm any MEAC team that saw this game, I'm going to expect when you play that team, meaning South Carolina State, expect a full-out brawl. They are very scrappy. Look at the rosters. FAMU had the better roster. But South Carolina State had the heart and grit to win. In conclusion, for FAMU, these close games will prepare them for the big matchups in conference. Not to say the first two teams are not as good as some of the SWAC's best. Just saying that, let's say if it's a Jackson or a Alabama State and it's a 1-score game, they're going to think back to these matchups, the past ones, and know how to get themselves over the hump to get the win. I always believe that you can figure out a winning mentality through close games. Trust me, you don't want to play too much of them, but you can learn from that. And Coach Cozy, he's doing a solid job for his first year. The thing that he's doing better than Willie Simmons, and not too many people are talking about this, not too many penalties, not too many turnovers. Matter of fact, in these two games, Daniel Richardson hasn't thrown an interception. Let me repeat. In 2 games, Daniel Richardson has not thrown an interception, and they're only committing 3 penalties a game. average, which is damn good, especially in HBCU football. So the future is bright for this year's team. They just got to open up the offense. I know I'm going to keep saying it. Open up the offense. Let Richardson cook. That may be a saying. Let Richardson cook. Because the brother is very talented and he can improvise with the best of them. Now to South Carolina State. You're better than you think you are. And they know that. If you just lean on the identity of this team, which is grit, knowing where you're supposed to be at on the field, aligned assigned football, you can go and win a lot of games in this conference, which is the MEAC. As long as they trust in their coach, which I believe, Coach Barry, I think the sky is the limit for this team. They just can't allow this loss. And especially when you lose controversial games with bad officials, it can hamper a team in the psychology. But if this team is, if they move on from it and realize that one loss does not dictate a season, you never know. They may be in the Celebration Bowl. Now some of the SWAC games I've seen, and I may mention some MEAC teams as well. And some non-MEAC teams. Let me start with some SWAC teams. Jackson State played the FBS team, as we all know, ULM. They got to clean up the mishaps. They got to clean up the penalties, or just the inconsistent football. Consistency is the Achilles heel of Jackson State, because talent, this type of talent that they have on Jackson State, they can win it all. And I'm not just saying it because I rock with Jackson State. I love their fans. They have always shown me love. But y'all know how I am. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Consistency is the main problem with Jackson State. When Jackson State's consistent, oh my God, they're like world beaters. From wide receivers, the wide receivers are tall, athletic, ambidextrous, can catch with the best of them. And when you have strong arm quarterbacks, that makes a total difference. Now, ULM, I know they're one of the worst 10 teams in the FBS, but they could beat a lot of teams in the FCS. So let's not act like any of these teams can stop ULM's running game, because they can't. I watch all these teams from Central, which I respect, Alabama State, all of them. They can't stop ULM's running game. But I still believe that Jackson State can work on their tackling, so they stop having the safeties having to drop down and help on run support, because if you keep doing that, teams are going to take advantage of that and go take it to the top on a play action. And you don't want that to happen. So they play Lane College this week. All I want Jackson State to do in that game is cut the penalties now, cut the drops, and tackle. Clean football. That's all I ask for. And I know it's a cliche, but just play clean football. And you'll see how great this team is. Because I love the roster. From a height, weight, and strength perspective, Jackson State looks the part. They don't look like no regular HBCU team, man. They got 300-plus pounders everywhere. They're at the line. They're not a regular HBCU team in a slight bit. Kind of like FAMU. FAMU's not a normal-looking HBCU team. Now, Alabama State, that matchup you had against North Carolina Central, you should be ashamed of yourself, because why in the hell are you playing a 2-quarterback system? It's the reason why you lost to North Carolina Central. Now, they outcoached them too, and shout out to Trey Oliver. But that cost them. Andrew Body was one of the reasons why that game was close. And you could say he's a running quarterback, but if even if you believe that, why not have Andrew Body the majority starter and run plays that fits his skill set? That's overcoaching. That's one of Eddie Robinson Jr.'s problem. He overcoaches. He has to use the keep it simple, stupid method. Keep it simple, stupid. That's all it is. Hopefully they get that right. Hopefully Andrew Body is healthy. I know he's dinged up at the end, but he's too talented, too gifted to be sharing time. And the crazy part is the quarterback that he had sharing time with, he threw a pick six and he was still getting snaps. How does that make sense? So I hope they get that rectified. North Carolina Central, now I've said this on social media about them. North Carolina Central is the best coached HBCU team right now. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to win the Celebration Bowl. They may not. But even if they don't win it all, I will still feel the same way because they lost all their production pretty much and is still flowing as a team. They don't beat themselves. They know who they are. And they had a quarterback, Walker Harris, who bind and waited his time. Didn't go in the transfer portal, stuck it through. And you see he's benefited from waiting, being patient. And under this coaching staff, look out for him to have a big year. But Trey Oliver, he didn't go and get a bunch of portal players. Now, if he did, that's you. I'm telling you, if Trey Oliver really went to the portal like he could, North Carolina Central would be even more talented what they already are. But they already well coached. He wanted his type of guys. He wanted players that love NCCU. And I can respect that. But yeah, that's the best coached team out of all HBCUs. It's not even close in my opinion. Morgan State looked good. Had a win over Hampton, 2-point win. But their offense is improved. And Morgan State is my sleeper because I just love their linebacker unit. Their defense is nasty. They have what it takes. It's just about coming together and just having the offense just show up. The offense at Morgan, all they have to do is just be respectable. They don't have to be a juggernaut of the offense. That's how great their defense is. Now, I'm not going to talk about every team, but only teams I saw. Prairie View A&M let me down. They have let me down. My father's alma mater. They got their tails whooped by Texas Southern. But kudos to Texas Southern. Everyone doubted them. Every single person doubted them. But they rose above the hate and the doubt. And got to give them credit. I did not expect that at all. Nobody did. And one of the few times where a prediction was totally wrong. Lucas Coley, I thought Lucas Coley was going to come in and provide a spark for PV, but he just didn't have it. It's just one game, I get it, but if it was against FAMU, Jackson, North Carolina Central, those type of teams, Tennessee State, and you just had a bad game and new experience being a starting quarterback, I could live with that. But it was against Texas Southern. Let's be honest, fans. That's man. Out of all predictions, I'm usually right on a lot of things, but I was wrong on that. I can admit that when I'm wrong. But hopefully he turns that around. And lastly, one of the games I watched, Grambling State versus Louisiana Lafayette. Grambling State has the pieces that I like from a quarterback, running back, receiver standpoint. Miles Crawley has a good arm. The pick six wasn't good. It's just, miscommunication with the routes. Things happen. You don't want to let that happen too many times in the schedule. Louisiana Lafayette is a respectable team in the Sun Belt. They're a lot better than UL Monroe. So Grambling State may be better than what we saw, but they fought all game. I don't think they laid down in the game. They lost 40-10, but they played hard. I could live if you just play hard and not make too many mistakes. The running backs at Grambling State are nice, especially Travion Hargrove, the transfer from Memphis. He's going to be a problem in the SWAC. If Grambling can implement the run game to complement his pass game, that will bode well for them. But they have to keep doing it. They have to keep doing it because they have the running backs. I mean, these are strong, fast running backs that Grambling has. And you could tell they came from FBS football. And they actually played in games in the FBS football. They weren't just sitting on the bench all day and didn't play all day. They actually played in a couple games. So I'm looking forward to the progress. Those are some of the games I saw. Shout out to all HBCUs. This is RawTruth Media, and I'm out.